Hey guys, welcome to Cadence Radio. It is November 14th, 2020. What a crazy year it's been. Hope everybody's doing good. Um, Probably going to keep this a little bit short, but I just want to give you guys an update in reaction to the elections. What's happening is, of course, Trump filed a whole bunch of lawsuits. Lots of stuff is going on. In my heart of hearts, I think that Trump pulls this off, wins it in the courts. He's just mounting some evidence, and eventually, I think it's going to go to the Supreme Court. Eventually, I think he's going to be reelected as president. But the biggest thing, my title's going to say it all. The biggest thing about this is not about Trump winning or losing. This election is actually about more than that. If I'm done, I've been doing my research for the last 10 years. I've gone all the way back when elections were elections. I think that most of the time these presidents have been selected. They haven't really been elected by the people. They've been selected by higher interests like big banks, big tech now in the mix. And basically, they select these guys to run agendas for them. They run agendas like basically writing laws, what they can skip through, tax breaks, all that stuff. And it's been going on ever since. And if you don't go by the agenda, you probably get taken out. I think us as a human race, I think we're getting more aware. We're getting more conscious and questioning. Most of us are slowly waking up and questioning how everything is run, how our daily lives is run, how the system which was implemented for us is not really benefiting us. Well, not basically benefiting most of us, but only benefiting a few. So I got a feeling when Trump did become president in 2016, I think he was just he was a plan for a change which we need to have. Basically, we have a change which we need to have. And by him winning, he was a China bull, man. He came in there and he was just knocking the old establishment on their ass with all the things he was doing. He was basically taking them out, and you could tell by how they were trying to take him out with the fake Russian hoax, with the fake impeachment, with all this stuff. And he said it the best in his rallies and speeches. I'm not running against Joe Biden. I'm not running against that guy. I'm running against the media, and I'm running against these big tech companies. That's who I'm running against. And you can see now what they're trying to do with all the legal cases, how the media's on them, tell them to concede and everything. But Trump is very astute. He's a stable genius. Everybody says that, he's a doofus and stuff. Look at the way he talks, look how he handles himself. Maybe it's just an act just to throw you off guard, but the guy's a stable genius. The guy plays chess, 5D chess, and he has some surprise moves ready to go. He was actually, like I said, I think 2016 was the closest you've ever seen to a legitimate election, because the people who were selecting these presidents for way back when, they got too cocky, man. They're like, this guy's running and stuff. They never seen him coming. And when he took off, and he was even saying that in 2016. It's like the game is rigged. These politics have been rigged since the beginning. He was saying that. So everybody's saying that he lost fair and square, but if you're looking at the evidence and what I'm researching and the statistics about how Biden is getting all these votes and stuff, this was the last hurrah for him. Try to take him out is basically these mail-in ballot votes. And surprise, surprise, they actually tried to do that to Lincoln back in the day. They were trying to circumvent him by doing mail-in ballots. So like I said, history does repeat itself. So what's happening here is people got to ask themselves, do you actually think that Donald Trump was just it wasn't prepared for this? Wasn't prepared that these guys are going to try something nefarious to get him out of office. The guy is a stable genius. That's all I got to say. And we're in for lots more surprises than anything when it comes to this, you know. The chances of him pulling this off, yes, they're slim to none. They're very slim to none. But in my heart of hearts, I think that he will pull it off. He has not lost yet with all the Russian hoax and all that stuff. How they're trying to take him down, they haven't defeated him. So are they really going to defeat him now? I don't know. Maybe, or we have a surprise waiting to happen. If you guys don't know, I've been reading through Gateway Pundit, a couple of Twitter handlers, Trump's lawyers, talking about the voting machines, the Dominion voting machines, how they were switching votes from Trump to Biden, and there was a whole bunch of glitches happening in some counties in Michigan and stuff, and they said they fixed the glitch, but now all of a sudden, there's more glitches which are appearing. Lo and behold, the army, I guess, went and retrieved the Dominion server in Germany. That's where all that information was being stacked with all the votes and stuff. So you tell me who's ahead of the game or not. It could be nothing. I don't know. With this army seizing stuff, are they seizing stuff to cover their tracks? Are they seizing this to help Trump along with whatever chess move he has? And like I said, this is an ultimate game. I think, to tell you the truth, I think Trump is part of a faction. Of what I said in my old podcast, Trump is part of a faction which is fighting another faction. So I think there's a bunch of cycles going against a bunch of cycles. But the less cycles want to get in there so these other cycles don't blow the war to kingdom come, basically. I think just vote them all out, let the people decide for themselves in the long run. And I think that's what the ultimate goal is. If Trump wins, the election process is changed forever. If he loses, the election process keeps on going. The machine keeps on going like it has been going before. So yes, that's what he's saying. This is the most important election of our time. And you guys got to hear the little Easter eggs Trump does when he goes in. Just hear what he says. Honestly, he has Easter eggs to Easter eggs to Easter eggs. And if you guys can really hone in on him, you'll be a little bit surprised. And of course, the tweets are classic. Of course, what he's been tweeting the last 3 or 4 days is very, 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 very informative. He talked about the Dominion. He talked about votes being switched, like 2.7 million votes being switched from the Trump side to the Biden side. How some 2.7 million votes missed on the Trump side, and about hundreds of thousands of votes switched from Trump to Biden. So here's my take on how the election went. Biden could not fill a gym with his rallies, and whoever thinks that this guy could get 78 million voters is pretty much not awake yet. That's all I gotta say. The reason why he was in his basement was because he knew the fix was in. He knew, you just stand pat, we got this. Big tech had it with him, and the media had it. Those are the two biggest challenges of what Trump is up against, because the big tech would switch whatever they switched with the voting, and the media is going to say otherwise. So the media came out when the election was going. Trump was up tons. Tons of it. He was up tons of votes in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, all the battleground states. He was wiping the floor with Biden. And all in honesty, if anyone heard about all of a sudden the polls close and stop counting for hours, and then the next day Biden has come and taken a tie or insurmountable lead, in those hours everything was closed down. Never in election history has that happened. That's basically one of the biggest red flags everybody should see. So I think what happened was they didn't. In 2016, Trump was a newbie. The establishment, whoever the demons are, I call them the demons. They got very, very cocky. We are Hillary Clinton. We got this in the bag. We don't need to do anything about it. So they didn't unleash their little switcheroo votes in the voting systems they had, right? So because they knew that Hillary, more popular, she was gaining ground. She basically had in the back. She doing the whole Obama thing. She was running off Obama's coattails and stuff. But lo and behold, people came out and voted for Trump, and they saw that and they said, this cannot happen again. This guy cannot be in the White House another 4 years because most of these people are going to go to jail. Eventually, I think they are going to go to jail anyways. So fast forward to 2020 and 2016, I bet you when Trump won, he already knew exactly what he needed to do in 2020 to circumvent whatever they were plotting against him. So lo and behold, you come to election day, election night. Trump was doing 7-8 rallies a day in October. Like he was going, you could see the mounds of people. It's like, go out and vote. And Democrats, of course, had that little ace in the hole, the mail-in ballots. If you talk to on September 20th, when Trump, I think he got the Attorney General, he hired Bill Barr and stuff, and he said it on CNN. He's just like, if you guys introduce mail-in ballots, it's going to be the biggest fraud. They're ripe with fraud. You guys open up a big can of worms if you're going to do that. That was the warning was set in September. And I think Trump knew exactly what was happening. He knew exactly what's going to happen, and I think he trapped them. So when he came out and he got, I guess his votes were over. He had 65, but then he has 65 million in 2016. Then now he has about 73 million. 8 million more people voted for Trump. So what happened was these guys were they're doing the little switcheroo and stuff, but they couldn't get when those leads came in, the votes came in, they were just shocked. They didn't know what to do, because if it was a little bit like 8,000 here or whatever it is, by all means, you could probably switch and nothing would happen, right? No one would see what's happening. So what Trump did was basically beat him at their own game. So they started flushing in the mail-in ballots, doing the switching. So that fraud got so big that it was noticeable. People now are asking questions. They're like, how can this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? So his lower team of investigators, they're going around, they're doing affidavits, they're doing all that stuff, they're collecting the evidence, and they keep on collecting evidence. So what's going to happen? It's going to be one of the biggest, when he's ready to go to the Supreme Court and say, this is what I have on this, but he has a card. That's why the funniest thing, I was looking I was thinking about it. It's Donald Trump, right? You know, Trump card, right? You know, this is just like the best movie ever played out. This is you can't stop. Like my wife gets all mad at me because I'm on Twitter. I'm like, oh man, what's going to happen next? I need to know what's happening next on this one. I want to report it to everybody because you see it and you got all the other you got your thoughts on it, you know, but most people just listen to that media and they say, oh no, he lost, you know, there's no coming back to him. But my whole thing about it is I tell them that the media can't call an election, right? The election is not certified yet. That's what he's fighting for, the certification of that election, because most of the stuff which was done was unconstitutional. What Donald Trump was been running on his rallies about, he's like, I am the president of law and order. You know, the law and order is coming from the Constitution. So if these guys circumvent the Constitution, that's a big problem, because who gets involved when someone circumvents the Constitution? It's the military, because they're bound to protect that document. They're not bound by a president. They're not bound by a king. They're not bound by anything like that. They're bound by that Constitution. If the president circumvents it, they protect it from foreign and domestic terror enemies. So if he's circumventing everything, if someone's circumventing that Constitution, the military gets involved. And here's a tidbit which I got it on my Twitter, which is very, very interesting. I don't know if it's going to be anything or whatever, but I was thinking about it. So it's from Mary the Patriot. Shout out, I'm following her on Twitter. That's her name, Marie the Patriot. At Be Like a Sunflower, at Be Like a Sunflower. But this is what she wrote. She wrote from the guy. She retweeted a major Twitter from Major Patriot. That's the guy's Twitter handle. And this is what he wrote. He's like, bombshell. The 2020 election took place under a Trump-declared national emergency. The national emergency was put on when the COVID started. That set an election day trap for unauthorized accessing of election and campaign infrastructure. So what that means is a state of emergency. If anything's happening and someone circumvents the Constitution, whatever it is, this is my hearsay about it. Circumventing the Constitution, the president has a right to protect that. So if they're in a national emergency and they got proof of what's happening to the elections, what's going to happen in the election, not national emergency, they have a right to investigate that to protect the citizens of the United States. So, is that the Trump card? So all this evidence they're collecting and more to come says that I had the right to do this because of that national emergency, to protect our citizens from someone taking our election. And that's why I'm thinking about why Trump is always tweeting about everything, come on, about Dominion, about this is a fraud, this is this and that. I think he has the goods on them already. I think he has all the investigation. Donald Trump Jr. is coming up saying that release all the evidence. We need people to go to jail. Because was this a sting operation investigation to protect the citizens of the United States and also protect the Constitution too? That's something to ponder, something to think about. Because that is true. It was under national emergency. What I'm going to get back to is just like I said, if Trump wins or Trump loses, if Trump wins, elections are going to be changed forever. In the Western Hemisphere too. Up here in Canada too. Because we use the same exact machines lo and behold, in our elections to the Dominion ones. So there's a lot of can of worms to open up. So for me, you can see a lot of these states are coming up and locking everything down. We just got on a lockdown for 2 weeks in Calgary. Toronto got on lockdown again. Is something really happening because they want people locked down because something's being occupied? I don't know. And that's what I'm thinking about, because all of a sudden COVID was fine. Then all of a sudden they have these astronomical numbers coming out of their woo-has to tell the truth. Half this stuff is false positives. 50% of these tests are false positives. I just read like Erykah Badu, she tested positive for coronavirus in one nostril and tested negative in another nostril. You think about that as you may, but something's happening. I don't know if these guys are just locking everything down so they can escape, but they've been caught red-handed. I think this is the trump card everybody's talking about. Like I said, this dude, one of his chiefs of staffs he hired, or Department or Defense people, I think his name was Christopher Miller. He says that everybody's afraid of Donald Trump because the guy plays chess in 5 dimensions. You know, the guy never loses. So, be it as it may. I'm not on it, but if this reigns true, but we'll just see. We got a month to find out, because the election gets certified December 14th. We got a month to find out. So I have a feeling that Trump has these people reeling hard right now, because I think they done messed up for sure. Because that fraud, the steal, the heist of the century right there, there's a heist of the decade, I'll tell you right now. There's a lot of heists, but I think they were pretty sloppy, with people coming out that are like, we ain't going down with you guys, man. Yeah, you guys try to make this as little as it, but it got out of your control. And the biggest weapon Mr. Trump had were the people who came out to vote for him. The people of the United States. We the people. We're, like Canada, USA, we the people are more powerful than what we think we are not. We are more powerful than anybody if we all come together, for sure. So, be it as may, it's going to be some exciting times. Very exciting times in the next couple of months, man. 2020 is not over yet. 2020 is still going to have a lot of surprises on it. And we'll see what happens. This is Uma from Cadence Radio, signing off. Peace.